Okay, so this video, I have another thought that I wanted to add on the end, but this time it came the opposite way. I was looking at something and then I thought of a Bible verse and then I thought of the song. So, stars. So I was sitting in my driveway the other night and I was loving the stars. They're one of my favorite things. Stargazing is just one of my favorite things to do. So I came home the other night, I drove into the driveway, turned off the car, and I saw all the stars, and I just sat out there and just took in God's wonderful creation. So it is an amazing thing of creation. So we're going to go to where God tells us the story of creation. So if you have a Bible, go to Genesis chapter 1. It's the very first book of the Bible, and it's the very first chapter, so hopefully you won't get lost. So God's telling the creation story, what was made each day. So it starts off with first day about the light, and then the second day it talks about the water, how it's all divided up, and then the third day we talk about the earth with its grass and all the trees, plants, everything you can think of, it's all green. And then the fourth day is where we're going to jump in. So verse 14 of Genesis chapter 1. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. So, day 4, we've got the sun, moon, and stars, is how you would have probably learnt it in Sunday school. So the greater light, of course, is, if you look outside or behind me, is the sun. It's the reason that I'm not sitting in the dark right now. And the lesser light to rule the night, of course, is the moon. But the interesting part of this verse, and allow me to be a wee language nerd for a second and talk about the grammar, is at the very end of that verse, there's a little colon, the 2 dots, and he made the stars also. So grammatically, if you have another thought that you want to add, something extra, you do a colon and then you add it in. So that he made the stars also part is almost just an afterthought. That's how it's sort of put in there almost casually, sort of as if you were saying, oh, he made the stars as well. That's the sort of tone that it's written in. But it's the stars, for me, honestly, it's amazing that the stars didn't take a week themselves, but God did it in one day, and the main thing of the day was probably the sun and moon and the stars. It's just the stars as well. But God is so mighty, he's creator, he doesn't need so many years or something. He made it in one day. It's just amazing. Another part of the Bible that talks about the stars is, if you go to the book of Psalms, there's 150 Psalms. So if you go at the very end, I'm going to jump in at Psalm 147. So you're almost in the book of Proverbs, but you're not just. So Psalm 147 and verse 4. He telleth the number of the stars, he calleth them all by their names. Now, we can't even count the stars that are in our sky alone, and that's not even all the stars in the galaxy or the Milky Way or whatever you want to talk about. God knows the number of stars and he calls them by their name. On TV the other night, there was something about a star on a quiz show, and the name of the stars were some Latin name, and then it had a couple of numbers after it, and 2 of them nearly looked like the same name. But God, it's not just numbers or some description of the galaxy that he's thrown on these stars. They have actual names. He knows the number, he knows the stars, and he calls them by their name. And if you listen to the second verse of this song, it says, "Jesus, the Son of God, from death has been set free, and now on heaven's throne he cares for me." And God, he knows all about you as well. There's a Bible verse that says that he knows all the number of hairs on your head. I'm going to go to another place in the Psalms, and forgive me for going on a bit longer, but if you're still watching, then thank you. If you go to Psalm 139, so a couple of pages back, and this is a Psalm of David, and David's talking about how God knows him. So I'm going to read verses 1 to 10, so brace yourself. "O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my down sitting and mine uprising. Thou understandest my thought afar off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain unto it. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. Now, this I could read the whole psalm, but I'm going to stick to that part. You probably know later on the part where it talks about fearfully and wonderfully made. It is a beautiful psalm. Please go read the whole thing. But I'm just going to focus on these verses. So David's talking about how God knows him, not just as, oh, that's David, oh, he's the king of Israel. He knows him so personally, and God knows you in this way as well. It says, you know my down sitting and my uprising. Every time I sit down, every time I stand up, you understand my thought afar off. Even before I think a thought, God already knows what it's going to be. Thou compass my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. The path and my ways, everywhere I'm walking, everywhere I go, when I lie down in my bed, God knows what I'm doing. He knows where I am. He knows everything about me. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Not only does he know my thoughts before I think them, he knows my words before I say them. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me. He's all around us. He's before us, behind us, and he's got his hand on us. And then verse 6 is just so appropriate. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain it. It's just incomprehensible. We can't understand how God knows so much about us. It's for one person to know all that about me would be impressive, but he doesn't even just know it all about me. He knows about you. He knows about someone in Australia, America, India, wherever in the world you are. God knows all about you. And then there's the question which is not answerable, which is, whither shall I go from thy spirit, or whither shall I flee from thy presence? You can't. That's the easy answer. And then there's the two extremes that David uses. If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. There's nothing higher than the heavens. And if I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. And there's nothing lower than there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. So we know how deep the sea is. We can't even explore it all at the moment. It's too great and too vast. But especially in Bible times, surely they would be out in a boat and they'd have no idea how deep it would be below. And even if you hid in the deepest, darkest part of the ocean, even there God would find you, and he knows where you are. So it's an amazing God who we have. He made the stars also, just as well as. He knows everything about the stars. He knows their numbers, but he knows you as well. He knows everything about you, and he still loves you. Even he knows every single part of you, the parts of your sin, the parts that you think that no one can see, the parts that you're disappointed in. God sees that all, and even seeing that all, he still sent his son to go die on the cross for you, and he rose again and defeated death. And he loves you, and he offers you the gift of salvation. So why would you not want a God who knows everything about you, who sent his son to die for you, and even knowing all the sinful parts of you, he still wants you to be his child. He still wants you. So why would you not want that? So anyways, I just saw the time, so I'm going to end the video here. And anyways, God bless. Have a great weekend, and see you next time. Bye bye.